I don't want to go on a rant here. What the hell does rant mean?
What the hell does rant mean?
We're about to fucking find out. That's what.
I don't even know. Yeah, but do you have a rant or do you have a story about a rant?
Oh no, it's actually going to be a rant too, because like more shit has happened. So it's a work rant. So bear with me. So I'm responsible for budgeting and planning for a specific subset of my company. And, we do our planning well in advance. Like I already planned all of 2022 back in January for the entire fucking year. And we open new locations 30 or 40 times a year for the thing that I'm responsible for.
You open new stores? I thought you guys were just closing a bunch of fucking stores.
We open new subsets of stores, like different portions of a store gets another add-on to it. Oh. So I'm responsible for that. So did all my budgeting planning. We had 34 new stores opening this year. They kind of phased out, like we had 3 different phases, some in June, some in May, some in April, all well and good. I get an email today from some jackfuck and is like, yeah, we're trying to understand when our store is supposed to open in May and we haven't gotten any information yet. So I'm like, fuck you mean you haven't gotten any information? Pull the shit up. That store is not on my list of store that it's opening. Not whatsoever on the list. So I'm like going through spring. I'm like, okay, maybe it's in fall and they moved it up. Check fall. Nothing there. I'm like, news to me. What are you talking about?
So they thought they were supposed to get something and they're not?
Oh no, they are getting it apparently. No one fucking told me. So now we have this matrix that shows all the new openings, and that instead of having conversations,
and you're the one.
This other jackwagon is like, well, instead of having a conversation, just check the matrix. So I have to religiously check this fucking store opening
matrix.
So
upset he didn't even hear my joke.
47 fucking times a week to see if anything's been added. So I pull it up. That store's still not even fucking on there. So no, I checked the matrix. Not there. Dipstick douche nozzle.
So you're definitely not the one.
So then I'm not Neo. So then I'm going back and I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I have nothing. So then like, well, didn't you get anything from finance? No, I didn't. So I reach out to this other jackass in finance. He's like, I sent it to you. I'm like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. He's like, yeah, I did back in February. Pull it up. Let me see it. So he pulls up a file. I'm like, okay, this is the file you sent me, right? Yep. Okay, scroll down to the store. So he's scrolling. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, what? It's not on there. He's like, that can't be possible. I'm like, motherfucker, anything is possible, apparently, but no one fucking communicates.
According to Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Ooh, like such ridiculousness. And then this other asshole is like, well, when are we going to get our headcounts for the people that we have to hire? Guess you're not getting it for a long time. Well, we need it today. I need better communication. I didn't get that. Doesn't look like anybody's going to get fucking anything that we want.
Did he tell you and it wasn't on the list, or did he just not tell you? Never
told me, and it's not on the list either. So all the things that say that if the store is opening, it's not on any of them, but it's opening in 6 weeks and they started construction. So like, I'm gonna have to fucking I dream of Genie getting them.
But if they started construction, where'd they get that money from?
Exactly. Like it's
but if he said
ridiculous.
If he said he told you, but it wasn't on the list, so he didn't really read the list to send
and he
you?
Didn't really tell me. He tried saying that it was something that I missed, but clearly he missed it because he still doesn't even have it. He's like, "Oh, this is a mistake." Yeah, no shit, it's a mistake. You.
So then, how did he know about
fucking canoe churro?
Then how did he know about it?
He didn't know about it. I reached out to him, like, "Hey, have you heard about this?"
Yeah, but then he said he told you about it.
Yeah, because then he tried covering his ass when he was originally like, "No, this is the first I'm hearing of it." I'm like, "Well, it's not on any of the files you sent me." So then he tried backtracking, like, "No, I'm sure I told you about it then."
So he lied.
Yeah, he's a lying asshole.
He said that I told you about it, and then he said he didn't know about it.
Yep.
In the same conversation.
Yeah, same 5-minute conversation. So basically, I need like either Dionne Warwick and the psychic fucking hotline to know when this shit is happening, because no one bothers to have a conversation with me.
I'm sure everybody's going to get that reference.
Oh my God. Then I could have fucking called Bruce Willis and talked to some dead people, maybe. RIP his career. But like, what the actual fuck? I was fucking raging. I'm still fucking raging because it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
You probably shouldn't even care. Just be like, whatever. I don't give a shit.
I have to give a shit, though. It's my job.
Yeah, but they didn't tell you.
So I apparently have to read minds.
I'm not sure.
Because this isn't the first time that this has happened. This happened last year, too. And that's when they're like, well, you need to check the matrix. We update it there. Oh, clearly you don't, you little fuckers.
But do you check the matrix?
I check it 447 times a week. And
who's in charge of it?
It just has that store and a question mark. It doesn't have the phase that it's opening, doesn't have the construction timing, doesn't have the approval timing, doesn't have
what is this store? What is this store getting?
It's getting it's a $1 million business that they're having added to it. $1 million in one fucking store. Really,
But
that's
like, what are they? Are you adding like a department? Like, hey, we're now selling condoms in this section. Like,
kind
what
of.
are-
It's
what are-
it's off price thing, so it's cheaper shit.
interesting.
It's
So,
bullshit.
So they're adding like a section to the store.
Yeah, it's like 12,000 square feet.
I didn't know that they were able to do that because I thought they were in such shitty shape.
No, we're in really good shape actually.
Since when? Because you guys have been closing stores and have been like damn near fucking dead for years.
Oh, we're back, baby. The pandemic helped.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they publicly traded?
Yeah.
Interesting. So I don't know if you're legally allowed to talk about publicly traded companies.
That's why I haven't mentioned the company.
Like you can't. I think you can talk about the company. You just can't come on here and be like, "Yeah, our numbers are this, this, and this."
Oh yeah, definitely can't do that.
So, because then, yeah, even like when I worked for Restoration Hardware, they would be like, if somebody comes in and asks you how your business is, you just like you say nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
'cause
not even like media comes in and anything. It's like, nope, got nothing for you.
If you say, "Oh yeah, we're having a good day," they can misinterpret that as like it's
Yep.
amazing, and then like you'll get in trouble. You know, like how they would find out you told them that, but they'll misinterpret it. So people would just be like, "Yeah, we're having a good day," or we're having fun." That's what they'd say. Like, we're having fun. It's like, yeah, it's just such an awkward. I hate work. I guess if you're going to start out with that, I wrote in rants work emails. I don't understand how people, because I work in the corporate offices, but there's like it's a store, but the corporate offices are there, and
That's
people
still kind of cool that that's like, is it in the basement?
So like if we have when we're receiving, so the lady who does all the receiving is off this week, so I've been helping with receiving, and clothing is so much worse than furniture because there's a million orders. So a purchase order will come in, and we're receiving through like a green screen. It's like the most archaic, like old shit. So you're like scrolling to look at numbers and shit. Sometimes this stuff won't be on there. So if you're in a normal store, you'd have to like email the buyers and stuff. But the buyers are literally like 100 feet away. But I emailed one at 11 o'clock, no response the whole day. I'm like, if most of the day you're sitting at your desk, how do you not respond to emails? Like, I don't get that many emails, and I'm checking constantly. And I respond. Somebody will be like, hey, we need this. And it's like, I have to send a UPS return label. I'll respond, oh, okay, all done. So nobody's wondering, hey, did that ever get done? And I'm like, I need this number so I can receive these items. No response from the email. None. And I'm like,
that happens all the time. So like, obviously we work from home, so we're at our computers.
You have no excuse.
I'll literally get 150 to 200 emails a day. Great, whatever. If I email my boss a question, or I send him a message on Teams, he'll read it and then doesn't respond for like 9 hours.
That's
like,
even
dude,
worse.
you're at your fucking computer.
Like if you're like, I guess if you're at home, you have no excuse. But like, they're not always at their cubicle. Fine.
Yeah, if they're like
But
in a store or something and traveling, whatever, I get that. But if you're
8-hour
physically
day, you're gonna be there. Like sometimes we have to like go up to them and be like, "Can you change this?" And like, obviously, they don't want to be bothered.
Hello?
But I'm like, you won't. Like, I don't know if you ever did receiving. Have you said what company you work for? I feel like you have.
I have not actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I feel like we have, and we've talked about it on we definitely talked about it on GoPod.
On GoPod we did, but on this one, I don't think I've ever named the company.
Are we not allowed to? Because I haven't named mine either.
It's mysterious. Let's keep the mystery and intrigue.
Because I'm going to blurt it out by mistake. But did you ever see what receiving is like for a big box store like that?
Yeah.
So like we're getting a ton of shit, and like a woman who does most of the receiving has the authority as a former buyer to just change it. So I'll hear her being like, "What the fuck?" But she can just change it. I swear to God, cool. I picked up like 6 boxes the other day. Every single one of them had an issue. I just told the other girl, I was like, I'll ticket the stuff. You fucking receive it. I'm not dealing with this. I don't like talking to people. And like, I emailed one of them once, the one who responded. I said, I need a purchase order number on this. Could you help me out? And she goes, she responds, oh, it's actually right here on the sheet. Like I read the top of the sheet and then where the SKUs were, the PO number was under there. So I'm like, now I'm never going to talk to anybody ever again because I feel like a complete idiot. But I'm like, I have to go up to these people and be like, hey, can you fix this? I don't want to run up there 100 times. But if nobody's going to respond to an email, I'm like, this is horrendous. So
you know what pisses me off too?
I hate clothing.
When it's like an email chain and like you just need to respond to like one person, the people that do reply all, I literally want to punch in the trachea.
At our age, they used to do that. Like I'll say something. It's like a group. Hey, we're getting lunch for the team this week or whatever, something stupid, and they'll respond all, "Hey, thank you, that's great." You don't
Yep.
you don't need to do that. Or hey,
Or
just make sure you check off your time card for this day and let me know. And then you respond all, hey, done. Like, I don't need to know that. Just fucking respond to the person who sent the email. Not
or
the
like
whole
it's a
fucking
congratulations. Like you don't need to reply
Yeah.
all to congratulate someone. Like I don't need to know that you're like acknowledging them. Like I can respond privately. Fucking
People-
stop doing it. So
People
now
wanna-
I started.
People want to know that though.
What I've
They want-
started
they-
doing, if I send like mass emails, I BCC everyone, so then they can't reply all.
What the hell is BCC?
Blind copy,
The hell does that do? So they can't respond all?
because they don't see everyone else who got it. So if they hit reply all, it's only going back to me, or the people that I've CC'd on it, like if it's me and my boss or something like that.
Oh, but that they still goes back to you, so you still have to see it.
Yeah, because
So you're helping everybody else. You shouldn't do that. Fuck everyone else. They should have to see all that stupid shit. I responded all. They sent out an HR email to like every single one of our like 8 stores, and I wanted to respond back saying something like, "Yes, I'd like to talk to this person," and I hit reply all by mistake, but I don't have the authority to email the entire company, so it came back as fucking mailer Damon. I was like, I just avoided a fucking travesty.
I would
fucking
if that
emailed the
if that was,
entire
I would have
company.
resigned. I would have stopped showing up and be like, it's over.
I was just like, yeah, could you let him know that I'd like to speak to him about like it was like 401k shit, and then I see the bounce back, and I was like, oh dear God, I would have emailed 8 stores and like 1,000 employees or some shit. But it fucking drives me nuts. I can't do my job if I have to fucking. And there's like everything has like they'll send you an extra pair of pants or like that's a different length than what you ordered. You got to go to a buyer and they have to fix it. I can't imagine if we were working in a store without the buyers. We just had to rely on email, and they just
And then
didn't
sit
respond.
there.
We
waiting
have
on it.
boxes piled up for fucking weeks, but it's been so fucking busy because I'm trying to help out, and it's just the 2 of us. It's a lot, but we're busy. But there's just so many. It's easy enough if you can just all right, 100 pants, tag 100 pants, receive 100 pants, done. Oh, says we have 99. We got 100. I gotta go fucking. I can't do anything. I gotta wait. Move on to the next thing. And like clothing is like luxury clothing. It's like $500 for like a fucking pocket square, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And
Is
like
it velvet? Is it velour? What is it?
all these brands that like I like Cucinelli,
Cashmere.
I'd never heard of. Fucking Xenia, I've never heard of. And I'm like,
Zendaya, she's a singer
fucking, isn't she an actress?
and an actress.
Is she a singer, really?
Yeah, she's on that
fucking
shit, too.
Spider-Man. She's a huge,
Yeah.
huge actress. And I'm like, I don't know any of this fucking shit. I just received the pants. Have you ever heard of I forget what the company was, but the name of their jeans are like one of their jeans brands was called Ex-Boyfriend.
Really?
And I was like, could you imagine going into the store and being like, hey, do you guys have an ex-boyfriend? And you just being like new there, and you're like, yeah, we broke up last week. How did you know that? Like, no, I'm looking for jeans.
And then you're getting their life story.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't even care about last week's unusual death. I kind of like that. We don't have to. Are you getting sick of the unusual deaths, or are they? 'Cause I
No,
feel
they're
like
still interesting to me.
They haven't been as juicy.
Some
Or
of them
maybe
are.
maybe I just don't fucking remember because I don't. You already told me what the one was before we went on. I already forgot.
I thought it was kind of good that we just started off with like an impromptu rant there. It was pretty good.
I'm glad I got that work emo one out because that was pissing me off, and I didn't want to wait a fucking week.
And you remembered to change the ticker too. Look at you.
Yeah, I was ready.
So the unusual death from last week was this 87-year-old lady. It was recent. It happened in March. She died when she was blown over by a helicopter landing at a hospital in the
Oh
UK.
yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. All right.
So did some research, found some things out. So like the Coast Guard, the Coast Guard was flying a patient into the hospital for treatment at the time of the incident, which by the way, that patient was like already dead too. So like, what the fuck you flying him for? The woman's niece said that her aunt was blown off her feet by the helicopter as she walked through a car park near the helipad, smashed her head, and died.
Shouldn't the helipad be like on the roof?
So
Where's
this
the
is where it gets
where's the
good.
helipad in the middle of the parking lot?
Basically, so the incident was now being investigated by the police and the Air Accidents Investigation Branch. Didn't know that was a thing, but okay. The helipad was constructed in 2015 after concerns over air ambulances' ability to land around the clock on what was originally just a flat and unlit piece of grass.
Oh, that sounds what did you call it? An air helicopter?
Air ambulance, they call it.
Air ambulance. Interesting.
And so, like, originally it was just on a piece of grass that they would land on. So then they actually constructed right next to the car park like an actual helipad. The project in 2015 cost $2.29 million in US or 1.75 million pounds. Took them like 7 months to build.
That's how much I weigh.
You wish. And it meant that, do you wish? So probably not.
No,
it meant that
the other opposite.
Not only could air ambulances land, but also the bigger and heavier search and rescue
Air
helicopters,
ambulance. It's a fucking helicopter.
such as the one used by the military and Her Majesty's Coast Guard, which was the type of aircraft that caused the incident, to be able to land. They've now since been disallowed from landing because this woman who died back in March, this wasn't the first incident that actually occurred.
So now they can't land?
Nope, they're not allowed
What
to
a-
land there anymore.
So, what do they just do? Hover and drop the body out?
They're not.
Hey,
they
they
go
hope,
to a
they,
different
hope they,
hospital
ca-
now.
they use a little fucking one of the things you jump out of the house when it's on fire and they bounce up and they catch it on a
It's
stretcher.
a gondola. Here you go.
God.
So this wasn't the first incident that occurred there. Back in October of last year, a grandmother was blown over by a helicopter landing in that same spot.
Why are there so many old people walking in the parking lot as soon as the helicopters have to come down?
She was going to an appointment. She got blown in between two cars and knocked unconscious.
Jesus.
But they didn't report it at the time because they didn't think it was a big deal. And now they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, this happened to us after this woman died. What the actual
I'm
fuck?
surprised they actually did that. Like, hey, yeah, we know she just died, but like we also had this one earlier. She didn't die, so
Isn't that insane? Like, whose idea is it? Like, let's put this literally right next to a car park where people can park. Now they've since not allowed people to park there anymore. Gee, novel thinking. You're just going to park your car 3 feet away from the fucking helicopter?
yeah, that's. I guess if it was somebody younger and they saw the helicopter, you'd probably fucking run away.
I'd be scared shitless.
But
I've
you don't
seen
really-
things. I wouldn't want to get the helicopter blade like chopping off my arm or something.
Yeah, you'd be like fucking Vic Morrow. You should look him up. Twilight Zone movie. Him
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like,
Didn't he and like two kids die because the helicopter crashed?
Yeah. 'Cause it was supposed to crash and it was in the scene and they somehow got like decapitated. So that was
Cool.
interesting.
So that was our unusual death from last week.
What was her name?
Jean Langham.
Interesting. Rest in peace.
Jean Langham. It's kind of cool that it was, I don't want to say cool, but like it was a new death. Like it just happened.
A nude death?
Nude. You wish it was a nude
It's
death.
only all right. So I'm gonna skip Mania for a second, and Randy asked this question. I'm gonna throw it to you.
Change the banner. It's a Randy
Question
question.
for the
That deserves its
podcast.
own banner right now.
What's the worst meal you had at a restaurant?
I'll let you answer first.
I
Or do you
can-
want me to answer while you change the ticker?
I don't have one for this, so I'm just gonna go back to the normal one. I don't know. I remember when we went. I think this was like probably 15, 20 years ago. We went to Applebee's for the first time, and it sucked. But most of the meals I've had that were like really bad were like at home. Like Domino's gave me food poisoning, and when you ordered fucking Marketplace, and we all got sick. And I
Yep.
thought I had COVID, but it was food poisoning. Those are like the worst meals I've had. But I don't remember having a experience in a restaurant where I was like, "This food is inedible. I can't eat it."
I've never had an experience where the food has been inedible. I can't eat it, but I distinctly recall when we were in college, I went to Kabuki, RIP Kabuki, got sushi with my brother. First time I've ever had sushi.
Didn't we talk about this? Is this the fucking where I was eating Taco Bell and playing T-dubs?
Yeah. So I didn't just get food poisoning from it. I got an intestinal parasite.
I don't know if I remember that because I know you got really sick from it. I got
You don't
food poisoning
remember
from
me,
sushi,
like,
too.
so
No, I
for,
didn't know
like-
if you. I don't remember if you. I knew you had a parasite. I
Oh
remember
yeah,
you were
I ended up
deathly
having to
sick.
go to the hospital. Like they did tests, they did blood work, they gave me a medication. So after like a week, I finally passed the parasites, and they were just dead little floating things. After I
How's
was
it-
violently ill, I lost like 22 pounds.
That's
awful.
I don't remember anything other than like eating Taco Bell while you were like vomiting, playing Tiger
In a
Woods
garbage can
with
while
that
you and Kyle were
that
playing.
maggot Kyle. I don't think he listens to this. Fuck him if he does.
So yeah, that was probably my worst
Yeah,
experience.
I got sick with sushi too because I kept eating it. I went through one phase where I was like really obsessed with sushi, and then I got sick. I also don't like I'll eat it from Stop and Shop, but it has those fucking like they're not cucumbers. Maybe they are cucumbers, but there's a crunch in it, and I'm like I don't like it. So I'll like try to knock those out, but it falls apart. But the mango tango roll from what's it called in Fairfield? Oh my god, it's gonna piss me off. Sweet Basil. Like I would get that constantly, and then one day I got sick and was like, nope. And then I had sushi again and on a WrestleMania trip, and then that was about it. But I love the crab stick sushi, which it's not really sushi. It's not even real crab, but that's the only thing that I'll like eat if I can. Somebody's going to get sushi, I'll get like 10 pieces of that.
You've never had like a sweet potato roll, which is just has like cooked sweet potatoes in it.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
It's
You're
actually
going
really
to a
good.
sushi place, you're getting fucking sweet potato rolls. You got to get some sort of fucking fish.
You don't have to.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
fucking
good.
lame.
I also get this one. I get the Boston roll, which has mayo on it.
Just the name alone is horrendous.
They have a Philadelphia roll, which has cream cheese, and just hard pass on that.
Yeah, don't need that. Don't need anything with fucking like. I like whatever. Sometimes it'll just be a mystery sauce. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'll eat it. But like, if
Yep.
it's just mayonnaise, like, no. This isn't a
Then there are
fucking
some that
sandwich.
have like the eel on top, and I'm like, no, hard pass on that. Hard pass.
I don't know half the shit that's in there, and I'll just eat it. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes you're like, nope. But I haven't had sushi in years, other than the crab stick pieces. But that's
Kate loves sushi. She would
like
get
a-
it literally 3 days a week if she could.
it's a big white woman thing. They fucking love. It's always in, like their dating profiles. I love sushi. It's like yeah, basic as fuck.
Love yoga,
fucking yoga, and let's go
starbs.
let's go for a run and let's go for a hike and then have some sushi. All right, basic. Fuck you. No thanks.
If I'm going on a hike, I want something deep fried after because I'm burning a lot of calories.
Wouldn't it be so much better if you just like went all healthy to defeat the purpose? Like, yeah, I burned 100 calories. I can eat 100 calories.
No,
I don't
yeah, I
know.
mean,
I
you
don't
can
know
like
about
I
don't
work
work
out
out,
so heavily now since I work from home. I'm basically up to like 4.5 hours a day of working out.
Yeah, that's too much.
I burn on average between 2,500 to 3,500 calories a day. So then I can eat 4,000 calories, and I'm really only eating 500 calories.
That just seems like a vicious cycle of nothing.
So I can eat like an asshole because I work out so hard. I've lost like 45 pounds.
You don't like. I don't think that's possible because you never really look any different. You always look the same.
No, if you go back and look at the live draft that we did, you, me, and Alex last April,
I don't rewatch your videos.
if you just look at it, my face is so much fuller in that. You can tell that I've lost weight.
I can't remember if you can hear my computer on your end. Because
Sometimes I could, but it depends on how you have your settings set up.
did you hear Alex there?
No.
Because that just auto played. Because I wanted to play fucking. I can do it on my phone, but I want to play on this podcast at some point. Play Hurdle. It's Wordle, but for songs.
That's interesting.
It's actually pretty fun. There was one super easy one, and then sometimes they'll just do like one beat, and I'm like, how could anybody possibly know this song from just? And you're like, what the fuck? But it's actually pretty fun.
That was actually Queen, wasn't it?
No, it was fucking wow, what the fuck was it? There was a TikTok where it was like some band with like Death Fetus or something like that.
Excuse me? Death Fetus?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
I'm looking at your face. You just look douchey. I don't know.
Oh, wow, you dick.
Yeah, I'm Dandruff Sandwich. Alex is a Jamar Chase stan. And you're
He still
Randy.
is.
I mean, how can you not stand that guy? He's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an LSU guy. So literally every LSU guy he thinks is going to be like the greatest player on the face of the earth.
Fucking Jimbo Kablamo. I wonder if he
Kind of
still
like
listens.
him with what's it? Everything with the Knicks. Knicks are going to be great.
They should have made the playoffs at least this year, for God's sakes.
Remember when he was a
Horrendous.
huge Quickly stan and now Quickly's awful?
I don't pay attention to the Knicks other than they blew an 18 or 17 point lead.
They blew a lot of leads.
I was hoping, like, I usually don't give a shit, but I saw they were up big and I was like, good, maybe if we can fuck the Nets over. But of course we lost. All right. I
Hey, they
guess
still have a better record than the Lakers, though. LeBron shows wrong.
I think LeBron deleted the tweet where it said, hey, when you guys, you're talking about my team and their age and keep that same energy up during the season and stuff. I think that tweet is gone, but that's fucking, let me find, because I tweeted a picture of it. Let me read the full quote.
Oh, and you were like, what happened?
Yeah, like, why'd you delete this? Where is it? Yeah. Keep talking about my squad, our personnel ages, the way he plays, he stays injured, we're past our prime in this league, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do me one favor, please. And I mean, please, prayer hands, keep the same narrative energy when it begins. That's all I ask. # thank you. How you doing now, LeBron, you fucking moron?
He's out for the rest of the season.
I heard Magic Johnson say that they could have had DeRozan.
They could have?
He wanted to come home. Magic was like, we have him. And then they decided to do the Westbrook trade. And I'm pretty sure DeRozan signed, right? So they wouldn't have had to trade away their best
They could have
defenders.
just signed him. Yep.
So they're fucking, I don't know who their GM is. I haven't known since Mitch Kupchak was there. I don't fucking know who their GM is, but he's a fucking idiot.
It's because LeBron probably wanted Westbrook. That's probably
The
what it
GM?
was.
Oh, Rob Pelinka, that idiot. Yeah,
And
of course.
LeBron was probably like, I want Westbrook. That's my
why.
boy.
That's why he's not the GOAT. Fuck that guy.
Would you see
The
that
GM.
the Lakers are getting rid of Vogel, their head coach? They're going to part ways with him after the season.
He's fired so many coaches. It's like, you don't win, yeah, you're fired. Gone. I mean, he's probably no, fuck LeBron. Whatever. Speaking of fuck, let's go to WrestleMania. Because that was fucking good. So WrestleMania, 77,000 night one. Somehow night two, 78,453. So
But Dave will say that's a made up number.
I think he already did. It's always inflated, but that seems like why would they make up 101,000 and then come? Because it didn't look any different than 32 did, but they said it was 101,000. So this seems more like believable.
It also,
if you're gonna lie,
loud too.
Yeah, and if you're gonna lie, why not just go over 80,000, which is the capacity? Why go under? So it says on Wikipedia, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer newsletter contested these numbers, saying they sold 65,000 tickets and 65,000 respectively. So that's I don't know why the WWE feels the need to make up numbers. Don't even say the numbers. Who gives a shit?
But also, even if they inflate it, they still sold, that means 130,000 tickets between 2 days. That's still amazing.
Fucking WON morons. So do you want to go over the card? What were your overall thoughts just in general?
I went into it expecting night one to be pretty terrible and night two to be the show you want to watch. After I missed night one and then I had to rewatch it, obviously. Night one was
once they changed Seth to night one, then night two was like, all right, maybe night one will be okay. But like overall, I thought it was way more entertaining than it was wrestling. Like you get AEW pay-per-views, you just get 5 hours of just nothing but wrestling. Like literally nothing. This was a little bit of wrestling, a lot of entertainment. I think it was probably the best WrestleMania since 30, 31.
Yeah, I mean, this was the most
every
enjoyable
single one
WrestleMania
I've gone to has sucked. Like 32 they're all mediocre. 32, 33, 34. No giant, great, epic matches. Not too many great moments. Very long shows. But these shows are still fucking 5 hours.
Yeah, each one was 5 hours, but they also were packed with great moments, good matches. It was entertaining. Why can't WWE do that kind of stuff all the time?
That's the only thing that would have made this better is if it was one night and they cut out the stupid matches we don't need. There was only one match where I was like, okay, this was like actually bad, but we'll get to that. And then we can like, there was 7 matches night one, and then it ended up being 9 matches night two with a couple of like impromptu matches. But so like the Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs, who cares?
I mean, that could have been a good match. I feel bad that Boogs.
But that's what I'm saying. Like this match was like, this is fine, but like it doesn't need to be on WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin, and like that fucking girl from, I think she was part of Fightful, so instantly a moron, was bitching about New Day getting, let's see, their match lasted in night 2. It was fucking, where are you? 1 minute and 40. And she's like, why is Madcap Moss getting on the card? Why is Boogs? And I was like, first of all, they've never been on a WrestleMania. So New Day's been fucking dominating the tag teams for like 8 years now. Is it? Fucking forever. They'll be fine. And Drew and Happy Corbin is like, all right, Drew has to do something. He's been in a feud. They had their fucking match. He's been undefeated. He kicked out of End of Days.
Which is amazing that finisher has been so protected for Corbin. That's amazing to me.
It's weird, yeah. But like that match didn't need to be on WrestleMania. It was fine. Not terrible, but whatever. And then you got Miz and Logan Paul versus Ray and Dominic. Logan Paul was fine. He was good. The match
I was surprised how good he actually was.
The match was fine, but he's like that match doesn't need to be on WrestleMania. The only problem I had is because when he got skull crushing finale at the end, he was fucking like smiling. He forgets to like change his facial expressions to like shock. He was just sort of like still smiling from winning.
Did you also see that apparently that was in his contract that they were going to turn him babyface? I'm sorry, I'm actually going to cheer for the Miz over Logan Paul. He just something about Logan Paul.
Are you sure? Because that they all cheered the Miz afterwards.
Well, the whole point was to try to turn Logan Paul face, but
why would he care? He's not going to come back.
He apparently might.
Yeah, for what? Next year's WrestleMania?
No, he might actually start doing this full time.
That's not going to happen. There's no way he's going to waste his time doing this full time when he's can make so much more money just doing what he's doing.
Yeah, but he
All
could
right.
also make a lot of money there too.
I don't know. I feel like the one-off appearances are fine. Bad Bunny's a guy who I would fucking watch every week. He was good. Logan Paul was fine. He was respectable, but I don't need to see him every week.
I
And then
did kind of when he did the frog splash and like tried to mimic Eddie Guerrero. That kind of popped me a little bit.
I'm not sure if he even like knew what, like, he said it on his podcast, like it was Three Amigos, like for Eddie Guerrero, but like, does he even watch wrestling? Does he really know? He also said he didn't practice any of this stuff, which is kind
I
of
feel like he
surprising.
probably knows of it. He may not be like a hardcore wrestling fan like a Bad Bunny,
But
but
do
I
you
feel
think
like
they were
he's
like, hey,
aware.
listen, this guy died a long time ago. He like used to like shake, so like just do that. I'll be like, oh, okay.
And then he was probably like, shake, rattle, and roll, hunky dunk man, the
And then-
hunky donkey man, or whatever.
That's fucking what's his face, Santino, the Honka Tonka Man. All right, then I think we had the match of the entire WrestleMania was Bianca and Becky.
That match was.
Did Dave give his ratings for this yet?
I keep checking incessantly. He's not giving his ratings yet.
How's that possible? It's been. Oh, I guess it's aren't they on like Wednesdays or something?
Yeah, I thought so. But so far, nothing. If that's not 5 stars, I'm gonna rage.
I mean, like, I'm sort of like don't really just intently watch these matches, but it's probably not 5 stars. I would say I would probably have given it 4.5.
It was honestly the best women's match in
and
since what the
probably
Bailey versus Sasha.
Becky and Charlotte at whatever the fuck it was, Evolution was pretty good. I'm sure they've had some other ones, but like I thought that
Bailey
match was
Sasha
so much.
Takeover was the Iron Woman match. That was good, but this, like, every spot mattered. It felt like.
And then, what was I gonna say? I didn't give a shit about that match going into it because I was like, Bianca's gonna win. We all know that. Not a huge fan. You know what sucks about StreamYard is there's no fucking pause. I can't pause.
That is kind of annoying.
So like I don't know. I don't know how to fucking stop. Like there's no way for me to stop. So I'm just gonna have to power through somebody knocking at my door and they think I'm ignoring them. But I was going into that expecting nothing because like Bianca's gonna win. We all know this. Whatever. Becky's matches usually under deliver, but this was really fucking good. And then Bianca got kicked in the face on that botch that turned out to be fucking amazing because she flipped forward and it kicked her right in the eye.
Her
And
eye
it was
looked
fucking
jacked.
amazing. Like it was like a botch, but like it turned out to be good. And then we got Seth and Cody, which it was really good, but people are saying it was like epic. Like I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. But I'm not giving it like fucking 5-star incredible. I still think Bianca and Becky
I would easily say it was the second best match of the weekend.
Yeah.
And just the even though you knew Cody was going to be the one coming out, you still were like, is he really though? But then like when that music hit, that song is really starting to become catchy to me. And I don't know why.
It's a good song. I just didn't like it that much because I didn't like him in AEW. Because I thought his character was just like such a fucking tool. Where I was like, I'm not into you, so I just never really liked the song because it was annoying me. But it gets you pumped up now.
Yeah, and like the whole presentation, like being able to keep that whole presentation for him, he feels important. And Seth should put on Seth never has a bad match at this point. Like
his acting is a little weird though. Like he starts laughing and then gets angry right away. Like can they stop calling him Seth freaking Rollins? Like that annoys me to no end. It's so cringe and stupid. Like I get that when you're like, I'm Chris, like you walk around your house naked going, I'm Chris freaking Ramey. Like I get that, but you don't fucking have the fucking team at work announce you as Chris freaking Ramey.
I mean, they should probably.
That's so cringe though. Like you're Seth Rollins and you can refer to yourself, I'm Seth freaking Rollins. You don't have the announcer call you by that. It's so I fucking hate it. It's awful. So that match was really good.
And now we go downhill.
I'd say I bet you Dave gives that higher than the women's match. Just I wonder if he does because Cody's in it.
I bet you he doesn't because Cody left AEW.
But like I don't think that match was as good as was Becky and Bianca.
I agree.
Like I think the moment of Cody coming in, because it was a little slow at times, but I think the moment of Cody coming in was probably the best part of that match. And the Stardust taunt, which I fucking marked out over. And then, yeah, the garbage of the weekend, Charlotte beats Ronda in just an absolute fucking I don't know if it was just a botch fest or a choppy fest, where it's just like there's no fluid movement, no fluidity to it. It's
They
just
have no chemistry. They have no chemistry.
I still can't figure out what happened with that moonsault. Because somebody said, "Oh, Ronda moved," but she did the moonsault. Usually, when somebody moves, they move inward so that they do like the moonsault like over you and land on your feet, and then do something. But she like does the moonsault, lands in front of Ronda, and then does another moonsault. So it was like I just looked so fucking weird.
I mean, if it was a mistake, she covered it kind of well by doing the moonsault landing after that, but it didn't seem the whole thing just, oh God, it was just awful. I'm not entertained. It was almost a 20-minute match.
Charlotte's titty came out.
Nobody wants to see that.
It was like her boobs always bust out. I'm pretty sure she was in the corner and it was like out, and the referee was trying to awkwardly be like, "How do you mention that?" Be like, "I'm not looking, but your titty's out."
I see a nip.
It was just not good. And like I can say that she had a good match if she did, even still hate her, but that was just. And of course, it's just the worst stat padding I've ever seen in my life. Oh, you know, Becky beat Ronda. Let's have Charlotte actually pin her this time, like without the shitty. Oh yeah, your shoulder was up, but I still counted because I'm dumb. Like now she has. Oh, I beat Ronda. To her fucking. It's like you're playing a video game and you're stat padding. Like you're playing fucking Madden and you have like 80 touchdowns. Like you're already up 58-0. You don't need more touchdowns and you're still fucking throwing Hail Marys. Like that's what it feels like with her. Like, yep, we'll give you some more title defenses. You get another big match and now you can beat Ronda now. So add that to your list of. I would take Becky's one WrestleMania 35 to 36 championship reign over Charlotte's entire run combined.
Easily.
I'd rather have that one over her 13, I think she has.
What's the next accolade for her? She's going to lose the title and then what, win Money in the Bank? Is that like the one last thing she hasn't done?
Won Money in the Bank yet, I don't think, and she hasn't passed Rick. Yeah.
Well, she'll have win Money in the Bank, but I don't think winning Money in the Bank will be the title reign that gets her to pass Rick. But I mean, she's been wrestling for what, 5.5 years on the main roster, 6.5 years on the main roster.
People don't like fucking Roman or Cena. That she's arguably worse than. Well, she's arguably worse than Cena, and she's definitely worse than Roman was. Because Roman lost a lot.
She's been shoved so far down our throats, you can see my small intestine.
And she's not even that great of a wrestler.
She's not. She's not even that. Her character is basically the female Ric Flair. It's not entertaining.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I wonder if she really sat down and thought about it. Like, would you be happy if you did something, whatever your career was, if it was a literal copy of what like your dad did?
Which was like a literal copy of what other people did.
Like, if I went into fucking selling insurance like my dad did and did every single thing he did, like, well, you just copied him. You do every single thing he does, and you do it worse. It's mind-boggling. Like, you just. You work out hard, you work out at the gym, you travel, and you work hard in your craft to be a good wrestler. So does fucking a lot of people. You don't think Becky actually had to work to get to where she is. So did Bianca. So did Sasha. Bayley.
Do you remember what Becky's character was? She was like an Irish jig dancer.
Yeah. You were like, oh, you're Ric Flair's daughter. Okay. You don't have to build on that. That's who you are. Done. Like, yeah, okay. So you work out a lot. You train. So does fucking everybody.
Yeah, so does Bianca, and she came from nowhere. Look at Bianca is probably the strongest female competitor they have.
Probably.
Is there anyone stronger?
No, unless you're like fucking what's her face, Doudrop, who might just be stronger because she's bigger.
I don't even think that's the case.
Pound for pound, she's not. Although I don't think she could deadlift Doudrop. But
she still would hit her with the KOD.
Yeah, no, she couldn't deadlift her though. She had to. I think she did it from the ropes, right? Either way,
I think every time she did it from the ropes, she still carried that weight on her shoulders. I mean, she's
pound for pound probably the strongest person in the company if you do it that way. Like the Cesaro of the women. I hate that gimmick though, because you could also be the dumbest or the stupidest or the ugliest. So I'm surprised nobody. I guess that's too big of an obvious thing that for people to say that it would just poke a hole in her whole gimmick that they don't even say it.
Nah, I feel like if Bayley came back and had like a ding dong hello and was going to feud with Bianca.
She did feud with Bianca.
I feel like now it would come up over the title. I could see that happening.
Like, oh yeah, you're the dumbest. Like, and her hair. she's too good to have gimmicks that are that fucking.
Yeah, she
bad.
needs to get rid of the hair gimmick of like whipping them with the hair or all that. Like, it just you're too good to have that.
That would work in like the 90s, but now it's stupid. And
Or
now
if she was like a mid card, not like the face of the the face of the division.
I just fucking it's stupid. But I don't hate her. She's too good to hate. I'm not a huge fan, but
I feel like I would like her better if they turned her heel.
well, you hated her in NXT. I think you just don't like black people.
Oh, that's definitely not the case.
It's the vibe I'm getting.
It's definitely not the case.
Didn't you have an NXT sign that they took at the door that said no? I'm not even going to say it. Yeah,
that's a hard no. That's a hard no.
It had something to do with no blacks allowed. And they said, sir, you can't bring this into the arena. And you screamed white power. I'm shocked they let you in. Bridgeport's pretty liberal, I guess. But fuck. I won $100 because she lost to Mia Yim at that fucking taping before NXT.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Mia Yim got me $100 from you. It's fucking amazing. I was so happy.
Come on, you honestly didn't think she was going to lose?
No, I absolutely did not. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get this, but whatever. Speaking of, I don't even know what word I said. Something that I was unhappy about. I just wanted Austin to have a fucking talk show. I didn't want him to have a match because that's the only thing that would have made me regret not going. And the motherfucker has a no holds barred fucking goddamn match.
I wasn't expecting that to happen, but then when like they were talking for so long and then Owens challenged him.
Yeah, I was like,
Austin
bitch.
Milked that for like 2.5 minutes.
I can't believe he is 57 and he wasn't moving great. But he didn't look tired at all. And I was like, I don't understand.
Doing cardio for a while.
He didn't look gassed by the end of it at all. And
Shane McMahon used to look gassed coming to the ring.
Yeah.
Austin had like, what, a 14, 15-minute match?
13:55. He took a suplex on the concrete at 57 with a fucked up neck.
I'm surprised they did that spot.
I was baffled. And I thought, this had a little bit of wrestling, but the Austin segment closed and was a match. Yeah, but it was that was entertaining. That wasn't like a fucking banger match, but like that was fucking awesome. Like seeing Steve Austin wrestle again, just beat the shit out of Kevin Owens and do all the stunners and shit. It was awesome. Thank God that closed. Do you imagine if Charlotte and Ronda finished?
The crowd would have left. They would have left.
So bad.
I mean, that's the perfect way to end the night. I know there's, and technically you can't even say that Charlotte and Ronda main evented because Austin and Owens had a match.
That was an actual match.
So, if it sent the crowd home happy. It was perfect.
I get because Logan Paul's a celebrity. Yeah, keep that match. But if you took away those first 3 matches and you just gave us the 2 women's title matches, Austin and then Cody, and then you coupled that with a couple of matches from night 2 and you put that as one night, that's like a perfect Mania.
Yeah.
Like you don't need all these celebrities. You have Johnny Knoxville. I don't need Logan Paul. But
Logan Paul,
you have 2 nights.
Different audience of people to get you to watch.
But you have 2 nights, so fine. I get it. And then on to night 2. So you started off with a tag team match. Again, another match that's good. Don't care. Who gives a shit? I'm glad Alpha Academy got on the card, but really, who cares?
It was a good match. The springboard RKO.
Fucking Matthew Riddell. He's so good.
I was really impressed with that move. I've never seen that.
And then
they followed up with the moonsault into the RKO. Like, okay, Randy, you've done that before. The match should end with Riddle's RKO.
No, he's done the shooting star press into the RKO. I don't know if he's done a moonsault. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, true.
So that was a good match, but like if I'm condensing the cards, I'm cutting that. And then you had
match I definitely would have got
Lashley and Omos, which it is what it is. Whatever now, Omos doesn't have to be undefeated, which I think is good.
And now he's got somebody to talk for him because they had MVP turn on Lashley the next night. I was surprised Lashley won, to be honest with you.
I kind of was too. I was kind of expecting maybe like Omos to get DQ'd and Bobby would win, but I didn't think he'd just beat him clean. But good. Now you don't have to bill him as like undefeated and stuff. He's been beaten already.
And now having a mouthpiece for him is going to help him because he could not cut a promo. But now Lashley as a face with nobody, kind of not going to work.
It'll be interesting because he wasn't very good as a face back in the day. Because he's just kind of like that Jeff Hardy where it's like his promos are just not good.
Yep. That's why having MVP worked for him.
Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn was fucking hilarious. The only thing missing was Steve-O. Other than that, I thought it was a perfect comedy match. Do you have a list of all the shit they did? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. They had the mousetrap table. They had the giant mousetrap, which sort of malfunctioned, but
Well, the mousetrap
Johnny
table
fixed
didn't
it.
even look like the mousetraps were like really adhered well.
Yeah, so half of them fell off. Then they had the bowling ball, stop sign, fire extinguisher.
The air horn, the sparkler
the
or the
pyro.
fireworks or whatever on the pyro on the.
I thought it was fucking.
turnbuckle.
I thought it was hilarious. I love
The
Johnny
the
Knoxville's
giant hand
Jackass.
that just smashed Sami Zayn in the face.
That's the best part of the Jackass movies. That scene from I think it's the second Jackass, maybe, where they do the giant hand. Yeah, it's the best.
That match had no business being as entertaining as it was.
Well, it's Sammy and fucking Johnny Knoxville. Like Sammy's amazing. So like and it got 14 minutes, which is pretty good.
Is it weird to say that Johnny and Sammy have better chemistry than Ronda and Charlotte did?
I think they're just better wrestlers. I just like Johnny Knoxville because he all those guys. Wee Man got kicked legitimately in the face. But then him slamming Sammy was fucking incredible.
Like
And
how like that was really impressive. Like
And then somebody dubbing over it with fucking Hogan slamming Andre call. Hilarious. Like that match was just great. And then the ending, you could see it was like, oh no, it's not going to function. But Johnny just fucking kicked it and it slammed on him and he got the win. So I love that. And then you got the women's title match with, you know what? Nobody cares, right?
Yep.
Skip. No one cares. And then I think the biggest letdown of the weekend was Edge and AJ. I was sort of drifting in and out of this match, but it feels like people say that AJ's had underwhelming Mania matches. I feel like some of them have been, but I wouldn't say all of them. And then it's like Edge, and I don't know. I'm just over Edge. And it just was not as good as I thought it would be. It wasn't as good as some people thought it was. It got 24 minutes, for fuck's sake, the longest match of the weekend. And
I went into it with a lot of high expectations, and I think that's why it was underwhelming for me because I expected so much more.
At least taken like a good match. It was just like boring.
I mean, it picked up in the last 5 minutes, but like it started off so slow and just like, come on, let's get going here. It just felt too methodical, which maybe because of Edge's new character, that was kind of the story he was trying to tell.
Maybe AJ,
but it didn't captivate me.
AJ bumping his head was he had a concussion or something.
Maybe he was concussed.
Poor guy. You just see him bleeding instantly, and you're like, did fucking something explode in his face, or did he bang a door? And Corey Grave goes, "We'll try to get some information." Like nobody knew. And then they showed I don't know if they showed it on TikTok or somewhere. You could see him bang his head on the star. I'm surprised nobody else did that.
They apparently, after he did that, did something so it couldn't happen again.
What did they do? Move the stage? Or they put a piece of fucking padding there?
They must have put padding or something. So
there were 4 matches that happened after that, and 2 of those matches were in the same fucking thing.
Well, they wanted to make sure that the tribal chief didn't get injured.
They probably just were like, "Hey, watch your head.
Don't be an idiot."
Then you get the 1 minute and 40-second Sheamus and Ridge squash of New Day, which is
I could have done without this being on the card. Like easily could have done without being on the card.
But since it was only 1 minute and 40, I'm fine with Sheamus getting a dub.
Well, I think if it was the original 6-man tag that they had wanted to have, I think New Day still would have lost, but it would have been an actual match like 9-10 minutes.
Well, then good thing it wasn't, because that would have just been another waste of time.
But it would have gotten the former Pete Dunne actually wrestling on the card. Now he's Butch and he's just
but he stole the show at the end where he was like super angry for some reason, and they were celebrating, and he was like angry.
Is he like a child, or like Ridge and Sheamus, his parents, like trying to keep him in line? It was weird.
And then you got Pat defeating Austin Theory in a decent match, and then fucking, of course, Vince actually wrestles fucking Pat McAfee, and then the worst stunner of all time. So they get Stone Cold Steve Austin fucking twice. I was so enraged that he came out.
Which you knew when McMahon was out there that Stone Cold was going to come out. You knew it.
Not really, because they already did that shit with him. I didn't think they were going to do it again. And then but when you saw Vince get scared when Austin Theory's music played, then I was like, oh boy, okay, yeah, he's coming out. But at first I was just like, all right, maybe we're just going to end with Pat being like a fucking loser. And so Austin comes out and fucking, I thought Austin Theory stunner was one of the best sells. I don't like the over the top ones. Like I always hated when The Rock would do that, because that's just ridiculous. But I thought Austin's was perfect. He just bounces and then goes straight up in the air. I thought it was perfect. So I think he's going to be a fucking star.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think
too.
they're not gonna like chosen one him where he's just fucking, yeah, you're the next guy, and then hey, you leave.
It's going to be a natural progression for him.
As long
he's
as
good and he's
no
young
more
too.
allegations come out against him where he was like texting underage girls or something. Hopefully that's fucking over with. But he loses to Pat because obviously Pat has to fucking win. But then Pat loses to Vince. And the only thing that annoyed me was fucking Michael Cole being a cheerleader instead of just fucking being a play-by-play guy.
But
Come on, Pat.
That stunner to Vince was.
I didn't even like Pat's. I don't like this. You have to go to your knees. The proper way to take a stunner is to go to your knees. And then, like, I think Kurt Angle did one where he hits his knees and then just falls over. That's the perfect way to take it. If you want to oversell it like Theory did, that's fine. But Pat McAfee just bending over and not going to his knees looks dumb. The whole point of going to your knees is so the elbow or the arm actually goes into your throat. So Pat's sell where he just like lays like this, I wasn't a huge fan of. I've seen worse, but that wasn't that great. But
It looks like $1 million compared to Vince McMahon trying to take one. Vince couldn't take one when he was in his 50s.
I feel like he actually legitimately fell down from the kick. And then when he tried to get up, he fell backwards. So Steve's trying to grab him. He falls backwards on the ropes. Steve still can't get his head. Then when he finally does, Vince just like looks like he tears a quad because he goes down on his ass instead of on his knees. It was just Mick Foley laughing was hysterical.
Did you see the wonderful editing job they did when they replayed it on Monday?
Mr. Wonderful? He's dead.
Oh.
Unfortunately, dead.
R.I.P. Paul Orndorff. But did you see that, the editing that they did when they showed it on Monday?
I might have and then forgot, but probably.
It was amazing. The way that they did it, you never knew that there was a botch.
They always do that. Like when I love how even in this day and age, they show like highlights. They'll show freeze frames instead of the actual video. So like, yeah, you can't, if you want to see it, you got to go buy it. Like nobody's going to go on the internet and fucking look. Like they used to do that in the 90s where you couldn't get a replay. So you'd have to like order the replay. But yeah, of course they did. They should have just played it. It's funnier that way. And it makes Vince look like an idiot.
That's probably why
it really doesn't make Austin look bad. It just makes Vince look bad, which he doesn't give a shit about. And he could
never take the stunner and he just still can't.
No. And then you had a letdown of a match for multiple reasons. One, they've done this match a million times. You knew it wasn't going to be that great. But I think Roman was legitimately hurt. I can't figure out if he's actually hurt or if it was just like in the match he got hurt and now he's fine. Because he held the titles up at the end and then he came out on Raw and looked fine. But if you see it, his arm looks sort of jacked up. I can't figure out.
It looked like he tore his tricep or something, but.
Because there was like somebody said he separated his shoulder and he's like, look, like the shoulder was like here. And I'm like, if you separate your shoulder, it's not going to be in your bicep. Because there was a mark here, right?
That's why I thought it was like a torn tricep because it was all bruised. But then it could have just been a bruise from the barricade spot that they always overdo.
But he was favoring it, and then you see them talking, and then they just go into the finish. And then there's rumors that Brock was supposed to win up until like the day of or something, and then he just got pissed and left, which was debunked easily because after his match, he's taking pictures of the people.
And also, Brock had to have known for months that there was no way he was going over. Like none whatsoever.
I thought he probably should have, because now, who do you have realistically that can beat right now The Rock? 6 months from now, maybe at SummerSlam, I feel like Cody could beat Roman. But like, what would be the point of The Rock coming in and beating Roman? The whole point of having that match is so Roman can beat The Rock. So who the fuck is supposed to beat Roman now? It's either Cody or Drew to me. Those are the only two guys that I would build up.
And frankly, I would build up Cody to do it.
I would have Cody do for the WWE title. Give him the better title and let Drew finally beat Roman. That's his whole fucking story arc, is that he was champion, couldn't beat Roman. Now he got knocked back down, build him right back up, and then let him beat fucking Roman. Because if you're going to have Roman face The Rock at WrestleMania, you don't need a title.
You shouldn't.
What are you going to have The Rock win and be champion for a fucking week? The whole point is to have Roman beat The Rock. You don't need a title for that match. I don't even need that match. But if you're going to do it, at least have no title, and then the Roman can win and be the head of the table. But I'm sort of sick of Roman. Like, it's one thing to just be dominant. He hasn't lost in like 2 years, for Christ's sake. He hasn't been pinned in like fucking 15.
No, the last people to pin him were like Baron Corbin and Eric Rowan.
It's infuriating. Like, that's too much. You did too much of a good thing. You finally did something cool, and then you fucking overdid it like you always do. I don't need Roman every week winning and being champion.
But also,
for
he doesn't
500
wrestle
days,
every week. He doesn't wrestle often. He's there every week, but he doesn't wrestle a lot.
which is also annoying. Like, if you're gonna build him up, have him fucking squash a bunch of have him beat fucking Angel Garza every week for all I care. Like, it's fucking annoying. Like, it's too much. Every time somebody you think might beat him, no. So you have nobody. There's nobody left. Is fucking Charlotte gonna beat him? Fucking is Austin gonna come back full time and beat him? Who?
I mean, it's interesting now that they're at the point where they're going to have to build somebody else up to challenge him. Maybe not beat him yet, but if
Should
they
be-
call up like a Gunther, does he face Roman?
No, God, no. Fucking.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's
just destroy
Braun
him
just won the
immediately.
NXT title again, so it's not going to be Braun yet.
You got to do something because fucking you also need the 2 titles. So either combine those and then create a new one, or do something. Because
But if they now, because they did the unification, if they created a new one, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the unification?
no, because you unified those titles, and if you bring back the world title, you still got rid of the universal title.
But
If
if
they
they come
just-
back with something else stupid.
If they just bring back, it's like, oh no, we have to ununify them. Then it was they didn't need to do that to begin with. All you had to do was say it's for both titles. You don't have to unify them. It's the dumbest shit ever.
But
That's what
now
pissed me
maybe
off.
we can hold out hope. Like, you know how Cody Rhodes, when he won the Intercontinental title, brought back the old white strap belt? Can he bring back the Golden Eagle? The Golden Eagle. Wow, I just called it the Golden Eagle.
The winged eagle, yeah, that'll
winged
never
eagle.
happen. When I met Cody, he told me that this was SummerSlam 2012 that Triple H wanted to bring back that belt, but I don't think they ever will. They like the generic women's titles and men's titles to look the exact same.
Would you see they brought back? They have a new design for the NXT title, which I didn't even realize.
I saw the women's title got the white strap, I think.
Yeah, and now the NXT title that Braun has is apparently a new design, which I didn't even like. I couldn't tell the difference.
Are you sure? I couldn't. I looked exactly the same to me.
Yeah, it looked the same to me too.
I had no idea. Fuck. All right. We have to wrap WrestleMania. I'm trying to keep these under like 1:30 now because we've been getting like an hour and 45. But overall, so let's see. If you have, there was 7 plus 9. So if I'm building my own one night WrestleMania card, I'm taking Bianca and Becky, Cody and Seth. Unfortunately, because it's other women's title, I'm going to have it on the card. So Charlotte and Ronda, but maybe not the 2 of them, but that women's title match. I'm going to have the Austin and Owens, Sammy and Knoxville, Edge and AJ, the Pat McAfee bullshit, and then Roman. So you have 8 matches, 5 hours. For all intents and purposes, you sat through a whole fucking long-ass show twice. So it's not like it really cut any time. You had to spend twice the money, and you had to get through an entire 5-hour show and be tired that night too.
But now, of those matches, you just cut 3 title matches.
Yeah, you don't need to have those. Nobody gives a shit about the tag titles all year, but we have to put them on Mania. At least the Usos have been champions for a while, so I could see them getting on the card. But that's what the pre-show's for.
Yeah, the
can
fact that they
have-
didn't do any pre-show matches, like you could have easily had the Usos or the
And you don't need 2 hours worth of pre-show with no matches.
both
Doesn't
nights.
make any sense.
Both
so
nights.
dumb. If you watch the pre-show, you're a moron. Why are you watching people analyze a fake fucking sport? Peter Rosenberg giving you a fucking analysis on why Bianca is going to beat Becky Lynch. It's already been determined who's going to win. I don't need to hear this. I don't need to hear JBL telling you how good Happy Corbin is. Like, it's just the dumbest shit ever, and it infuriates me. You fucking pre-show. The only thing, like the post-show is at least, all right, you can analyze what already happened. Like the pre-show, like really? I don't need to fucking hear any of that shit. It's the stupidest shit ever. Even when there are matches on pre-shows, I just don't watch.
Tell me how you really feel about it.
It's just so dumb because, like, I'm not suspending disbelief to hear fucking you talk about, oh, Seth and his mystery opponent. How do you think Seth's preparing for this? He fucking knows who his opponent is, asshole. I don't need to fucking be in kayfabe for the pre-show.
Yeah, but for kids that are watching, they think it's real. You know what I mean? If they're watching,
They're not watching.
they could.
They have it on in the background playing with their figures. Nobody's watching the fucking pre-show. It's just the stupidest shit ever.
They had a crowd of people for the pre-show.
Yeah, because they wanted to get on TV.
Well, it was weird that the pre-show was outside. Usually they do it in the arena.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb, but it's fucking the pre-show, so all of it is dumb. And you need like fucking 9 people on the booth or in the fucking in the booth, fucking at the table. Like you need Booker T and King and JBL and Peter and fucking Kayla.
And then they kept circulating people out.
Like
they also had Leonard
such a waste
Floyd
of
on
time.
there. They had George Kittle.
Although the good thing about no matches on the pre-show is if you're going, you don't have to get there. Like when I went to fucking like all of them, like fucking 35 was the worst. I had like 9 pre-show matches. So you had to get there if you wanted to see all the matches. This, at least you could skip the fucking 2 hours and just get there right before the fucking show starts.
But that kind of defeats the purpose of the whole nostalgia of being there at Mania. What? You want to get there when the doors open.
That didn't make any sense whatsoever. Why do you have to get there when the doors open? What does that have to do with anything?
To see everything.
Because you can't see everything when the show starts, when you walk in? No, you don't walk in as the show starting. You walk in like half hour early. You don't have to get there at 5 o'clock if the show starts at 8.
Yeah, but also if there's 30,000 other people trying to do that, you're going to miss some of the show because you're going to be late.
You're not going to be late. Have you ever been to an event, unless there's a catastrophic incident like there was at 32, where even if people were out there like an hour early, they still couldn't get in, which doesn't matter. You're not going to get in anyway. But if you can get there like half an hour, 45 minutes before the show starts and get in just fine. There's no, like, what do you mean? The nostalgia of walking in there to when there's like 15 people there and there's nobody else there?
Being able to see the set and take it all in. If you've never been to a Mania before, you want to be able to soak it in.
This might be the stupidest thing you've ever said. You can't soak it in when the show's starting in half an hour. You have to soak it in. No, because then the show is on.
Like you walk. Maybe you've never been to Dallas's stadium, and you want to see other things that are there too.
What are you talking about? I'm saying if there's no matches, you don't have to go.
You might.
If there are matches, you have to go. But if somebody wants to,
what if you don't give a shit about the pre-show matches? Why do you have to go?
Because you're not going to go to a WrestleMania and miss a match.
But if it's
like I don't give a shit about,
if it's something you don't give a shit about, why does it matter?
Because it's still the match. It's like I'm not going to fucking leave if Ronda and Charlotte are main eventing. I'm not going to leave early.
But then now let me ask you. So you just said you don't. If there's a kickoff show match and you're watching it, you don't turn it on. Shouldn't that same premise be if you're going to a show and there's a pre-show match that you don't give a shit about?
No, because you're actually going. At least you can watch live wrestling. If it's a pre-show match, because I don't like to watch any of the kickoff, because I can't just be like, I'm not going to watch it and leave it on, and then, okay, now the match is on, now I'll pay attention. I don't want it on at all. I don't want to hear any of the fucking stupid analysis. If somebody tweets, hey, it's on, maybe I'll throw it on if the match is good, but I'm not throwing the pre-show on and watching it at all. But if I'm going to the show and there's a pre-show match, I want to soak in the whole show. But to walk in and be like, you can't soak in the WrestleMania, how much soaking are you doing?
I'm soaking like I'm in a tub, baby.
You walk into the arena and you look at the stage, and that's it. You don't need fucking 2 hours to do that. I can't imagine getting there with no pre-show that early. Unless you have no choice.
I would probably get there that early because I've never been to that stadium before.
Yeah, that's not at all what I'm talking about. If there's no matches on the pre-show, you don't have to go earlier. Most people want to see all of the matches. If there are no matches and you've been to Mania and you don't care, you just get there later. But if you're taking the bus for the trip, you're going to end up getting there early anyway. So you have no choice. If you're taking an Uber, you can go later.
If you're driving yourself.
You should never drive yourself to a WrestleMania like that. Especially I can't imagine. Just getting out of MetLife was terrible. I can't imagine getting out of fucking Dallas Stadium. Like, fuck that.
70, 90, whatever,
it's gonna
be people.
Because they're morons and they did 2 nights again next year. It's going to be a nightmare in LA traffic trying to get.
They're going to do 2 nights always now. It's like it's never going to not be 2 nights.
Getting to and from that fucking stadium in LA traffic is going to cost a fucking fortune. It's so bad. 1 night would have been terrible. Now we have to do it twice. I can't even imagine. The Ubers are going to cost you $100 at least.
So that's where you got to find a hotel that's super close to the arena and walk.
I don't
think you can.
No, LA you can't. Dallas you can't, definitely. New Orleans is the best place because you can get a hotel and walk to the arena and to the stadium. That was the best one. MetLife you can't.
I did that in when I went to when we had Mania at Detroit.
Those are the best cities. If you can just walk to this, like New Orleans is the best. They just need to go to New Orleans every other year. Like fuck all these other cities. It's the best place for Mania.
If they ever did one, they would never do it because it'd be too cold. But if they ever did like Target Field in Minnesota, you can walk to the stadium from the hotels.
Oh yeah, because that's outdoor. They probably. I mean, the only cold weather one they've done is MetLife, and it rained a little bit. Wasn't terribly cold, but it's not ideal.
I'm surprised they haven't done Vegas.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to. Let me find this TikTok question.
Okay.
Nope, not you. That's fucking random bitch. Where did I save this? Was it this one? Oh, I guess. All right, let me ask you this one. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling commentators?
Ooh.
For me, this is easy.
Jim Ross.
But current Jim Ross. AEW Jim Ross.
Oh, no. Hard pass. Burn him
No,
at the stake.
yeah, overall for their entire careers.
Jim Ross. Easily. Ooh. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
It's windy out. So JR, Bobby the Brain.
God. Gorilla Monsoon. Part of me is wanting to say, I'm not going to say it, no. I don't know who my fourth would be. What would yours be?
JR, King, Heenan, and Monsoon.
See, I don't think I could put Jerry the King Lawler.
That's the
on
only
that.
correct answer. He was the color guy from like 93 to fucking in the 2010s, I think.
And
like,
he's going to be back next Monday, too.
For most of those, through the Attitude Era and into the like Ruthless Aggression Era, he was fucking brilliant. The two of them together, and then you got Heenan and Monsoon, which is the fucking best.
Like that fourth one, like Michael Cole is good.
Sorry, but no.
But I wouldn't have him like up there. There's got to be one from like, what about Vince McMahon?
I don't think he was as good as the others, but if you just do like combined, that's my 4. If you want to do it play by play and then color guys, I guess Michael Cole would probably be in there. I guess maybe.
Would you have Taz?
Fucking God, no. He'd be awful. Color guys, I would have King, Heenan, probably Jesse Ventura. And then who's another? I'm trying to think some of the other ones from the. No, fuck that guy. Because Gorilla had Heenan and Ventura as his partners. Paul Heyman pissed me off so much during the fucking invasion. And then
he was kind of obnoxious.
Nobody in WCW was that great.
I mean,
I kind of like when Savage was doing commentary, even though he wasn't that good. But as a total, I'm putting JR and King, and then because they're the fucking Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, and then Gorilla Monsoon with Heenan is just you can't top that. So who's your 4th?
That's still tough for me. I might say Jesse Ventura then. I don't think I could put Jerry the King Lawler on there, even though he's was the 90s. He never entertained me.
How? He was so fucking funny. All the fucking titty jokes and all. It was a great heel comment. Like fucking Corey Graves just comes off as a fucking moron. At least King would fucking like get under your skin. Corey's just like whatever Byron says, he just goes no and says the opposite.
Well, at least you can say Byron's accent.
Or King would piss JR off and they would get fucking angry at each other. It was just there's no better. That's the one we grew up on. But I think Gorilla is probably the best of all time.
You know who I actually love on commentary? Wade Barrett.
He's pretty good. I think Tom Phillips is better than Michael Cole. He has a great voice. I don't know why they fired him.
He was trying to face fuck too many people.
That's a reason to be fucking promoted.
I think Vic Joseph is pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad either. Fucking who else is good? Honestly, I don't think Saxon is a bad color guy. He's a good babyface color commentator. He can speak well. He doesn't really botch too much. I think he doesn't get enough respect.
The guy that's on Raw now, I forgot his name already.
Jimmy Smith?
Good. He's pretty good.
He's growing on me. He's not terrible, but it's just I think Tom Phillips should be face fucking me on Monday nights.
I mean, you know who we both should have said?
Tony Schiavone?
Mike Adamle.
Oh, the GOAT.
Love that guy.
I will remember Adamle's like 3 weeks on Raw very fondly. Should have been fucking 3 years.
Oh, I love that guy.
Speaking of Mike Adamle, let's go to the MLB, even though he has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that was an interesting segue.
I had a segue, and then you fucking ruined it by talking more. So
I'm sorry.
So we got. Let's try to get this quick. I didn't do any awards prep, so we'll just go with standings. Let's start in the NL because we don't care about that as much. Give me your NL East standings.
My NL East standings. I'm going to actually write these down as we do them too, because that's how we roll on this pod. I think, the NL East is probably going to be one of the more competitive divisions, right? Don't you think? I
don't know how good Philly will be, but I think the top 3 teams are probably going to have a good race.
I think obviously, the 2 worst teams in that division are going to be Washington and the Marlins. I think the Marlins are actually going to finish ahead of Washington. I think Washington's going to finish last.
How about you go in order?
I would go.
Stop confusing me.
I'm thinking through it, man. I'm thinking it through. I'd probably say first place Braves.
Really? I fucking hope that happens, but
I mean, they won the division last year without Acuna. They're getting Acuna back, so he's going to play, 2/3 of the season at least?
He's only going to miss probably the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, so
if everything goes right. But I feel like the Mets just improved a lot, and just because I hope the Mets finish fucking 3rd again.
I think the Mets finish in 2nd because...
Good call.
Jeff, what'd you say?
What did the Phillies do?
They added a bunch of offense. They added a ton of offense.
Who did they fucking sign? A drive into deep right field? Fucking Castellanos?
And they got Schwarber.
But no pitching.
Yeah, the Phillies starting rotation.
We're doing too much of a dive into this. We should just give our fucking standings.
Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Gibson, and Eflin. They're going to have probably one of the best offenses.
Wheeler Yuta,
yes. They're going to have one of the best offenses, but they're going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the history of baseball.
Interesting. All right, so is it Atlanta, Philly, Mets, or Atlanta, Mets, Philly?
Atlanta, Mets, Phillies. I probably would have had the Mets winning the division if DeGrom wasn't going to miss, ever. Then I'd go Marlins and Nats.
I just have a feeling that the Mets are going to win the division. I don't know why. I feel like at some point Steve Cohen is going to fucking put together a winner. But the Braves, I'm going to say the Braves probably win it, but I'm going to predict Mets, Atlanta, Philly, Miami, Washington. Or Washington, Miami. I don't know how bad either of them are. They're both bad, but I'll go Miami, Washington.
Now here's the question: Do you have any of those other teams winning the wild card? Or are we going to get into
the Braves? Braves are definitely getting in. How many wild card teams are there now? 7?
3.
Fucking Christ!
3.
You could conceivably see because the NL West is pretty. Although it doesn't look like the Giants are being predicted to do anything this year. So I really
they weren't predicted to do anything last year, and they were
I know, but then they win 107 games, and then the next year nobody thinks they're going to do anything again. So I don't know how to predict them. But NL Central first.
So NL Central, I got I'm going to say the Brewers are going to win the division.
I agree.
I think second place. It's like I want to say the Cardinals, but they have so many injuries already.
But I feel like the rest of the division didn't do anything. Did the Cubs add anybody?
Yeah, they added Andrelton Simmons and Seiya Suzuki.
Sorry, I meant did they add anybody good?
Seiya Suzuki, does that matter? Does that count?
No. And then the Reds they didn't do anything, but they somehow finished over 500. So I feel like the Brewers Cardinals is correct. And then you just sort of
it's a kind of a crapshoot. Pirates, I think, are coming in dead last.
I mean, the Cubs were actually way worse than I remember they were. So I guess, but who did the Reds lose this year? Did they have a fire sale?
Yeah, they basically got rid of everybody.
They were 83 and 79. So
they got rid of everybody basically. They have Luis Castillo still. That's about it. And Joey Votto.
Then what? Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Reds, Pirates.
Yeah, I'd probably go same Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Reds, Pirates. That's probably how I'd go.
That makes sense. All right, and then the NL West, we all know the Dodgers are winning the division.
Are they though? They didn't last year.
Yeah, because it had a ridiculous out of nowhere. You have the Padres at 79 wins, bouncing back to win over 100.
I mean,
Who would you pick to win the NL West? The Dodgers got better.
so did everybody else though. I mean, the Rockies just spent a ton of money on Chris Bryant, baby.
Yeah, on mediocrity. You think
That's a good
so? You're
way to look at
predicting
it.
the Giants win the division.
No, definitely not. I'm predicting the Dodgers.
The Dodgers win that division probably by fucking 10 games. I'm going Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks.
Okay, so you went Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Because nobody seems to believe in the Giants. And then I can't imagine the Padres continue to fucking spend money and still suck. But Tatis is out.
I was gonna say so that makes me put the Giants in second place because Tatis is out.
But
For
they
3
have
months.
like nobody. And they just seem to like be like a really good team. And that like kind of feels like a fluke. So it's I don't know. I'm gonna say that the Dodgers and Padres are 1-2. Just because I really want the Padres to be good.
They'd be fun. I wish they were good. I thought they were going to be even better last year. I thought they were going to win the division last year.
Yeah, they should have.
How'd that work out for me?
They were fucking bad. So who are you putting in second?
I'd say Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Rockies, Diamondbacks.
And then the wild cards, there's 3. So I'm putting
Well, so now
Braves.
first question is who would be your number 1 seed? Dodgers?
Yeah, of course.
That would be my number 1 seed as well.
And then I feel like how do the fucking Brewers win 95 games? They don't fucking have anybody. They have good pitching though. I guess I'd probably put the Brewers at 2, although I think if the Mets put everything together, they could be the 2 seed. Fuck it, I'll just predict the Mets are the 2, the Brewers are the 3. And then the Braves are
Three wild cards.
The Braves are 1. Padres are 2. And either the Cardinals or the Giants are 3. Maybe the Phillies, I don't think they have enough pitching. So I'm going to go with the Giants.
So you got 3 teams out of the West making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So my
that's-
1 seed would be the Dodgers. My 2 seed would be the Brewers. 3 seed, the Braves. 4 seed, I would have the Giants. 5 seed, I would have the Mets. And my 6 seed would be the Padres. So I would have 3 teams from the West as well.
So we have all the same playoff teams?
We do indeed, just different seeding.
I mean, that's really because you look at the Reds, Cubs, Pittsburgh, they're not going to make it. Colorado, even with all that money, there's no way they're winning anything in that division. Diamondbacks, obviously not. Marlins, Nationals suck. So if anybody else makes the playoff besides those teams, then
Phillies or
happened.
Cardinals.
Phillies are
Cardinals
the
only ones that have a chance.
yeah, and the Cardinals are injured, so I could see them not doing it. But those are the only other 2 teams who have a shot. All right, so this is going to be the most fun. I want to hear yours first. The AL East.
Do we want to go through the playoffs for the National League first, or go through the
No,
playoffs?
let's go through the
Okay.
East first, or the American League, whatever the fuck we're in.
Do you want to start? We're going to go right to the American League East. We're going to do it. We're doing it.
Because we have to start in the same order, but this would be most fun for last. But yeah, what's your order for the AL East?
Toronto winning it. Tampa in second. Yankees in third. Red Sox in fourth. And is there another team in the division?
I'm really putting the Yankees in fourth. I really feel like they're going to be in fourth. I think it's Toronto, Tampa, Boston, Yankees, Orioles.
Now, let me tell you why I have the Yankees.
There's no way we're getting lucky enough for Boston to regress. It just seems
they're
like
without Chris Sale for at least the next 2 months.
Weren't they without Chris Sale all of last year?
Yeah, now they were getting him back. But the Red Sox have gone – they've lost some pieces.
Yeah, they had nobody last year. They were supposed to be god-awful. So I'm still picking the Yankees in fourth. But I'm having all 4 of those teams, I think, make the playoffs.
I honestly think all 4 of those teams make the playoffs too.
I think the Yankees' only shot is these expanded playoffs.
I really think that there's a good chance that we'll go through the other divisions, but I think that it's going to
No,
be
let's
very
skip those.
obvious who are the teams that are going to be potential playoff teams, barring injury and things like that.
So the AL Central for me, I feel like Chicago has to win it, and then I feel like Minnesota is going to bounce back from what we thought they would do last year and come in second. And then I don't know how to judge these other teams because Cleveland finished 80 and 82, and they like seemingly have nobody.
Yep.
Detroit,
the Tigers have loaded up on things.
Detroit is getting better, but I still think they're bad. And then the Royals are like they have some pieces, but they're also not good.
They have Zach Greinke now, apparently.
So like I don't really know where to put Cleveland. I feel like Detroit could finish third. So it's White Sox, Twins, although I'm sure the Twins will end up finishing last again. I'm going to go White Sox, Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Royals.
That's the exact order I have. White Sox, Twins, Guardians, or White Sox, Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Royals.
Let me see how good like Shane Bieber is without sticky stuff. Then, because maybe they'll get Savali for a whole year, who was actually pretty good last year. Maybe they can finish second.
Well, I know I always think the Twins are going to be good, and then they end up not being, just like I always think the Angels will be good. The Twins starting rotation now: Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan.
Who's their closer though now?
Chris Paddock, Dylan Bundy, and Chris Archer is their starting five. Their closer is going to be Taylor Rogers, who they just traded for.
No, didn't they just trade him away?
Oh, that's right. They just traded him away. Yeah, I got nothing. Maybe it's going to, I don't know who the closer is.
But that starting rotation you just named sounds awful.
But
Chris Archer is in your rotation?
He's their fifth starter.
Chris Paddock, who is like had potential for like 9 years and like never put it together.
I think on paper, their weakness is the bullpen, especially now that they lost Taylor Rogers.
Yeah, I don't know why they made that. I guess because they don't want to pay him next year.
And they wanted a starter.
Like, fucking ride it out, man.
We should have traded Chapman for freaking Paddock.
He's not that good. I'd rather have fucking Manaea or fucking Montes.
We're not going to get either, apparently. But I mean, the Twins are going to score a ton of runs.
Not with Gary Sanchez in there.
He right now, according to their depth charts, they're DH.
Smart.
The less that you have him actually catching behind the plate, probably the best.
All right, so I can't wait to hear this from you. What's your stupid prediction for the AL West?
Astros are winning it.
Sadly.
Astros are winning it. I have the Mariners in second. I think they've done
lock the Angels into the playoffs. That now they're guaranteed to make it.
When I'm off the Angels bandwagon, finally, that's when they're gonna do it. I have
you don't think Texas did enough to jump up 30 wins?
I don't think they have enough pitching.
So then I'm gonna guess you're going Angels, Rangers, A's.
I am not. I'm going Rangers, Angels, A's. I have the Angels in fourth.
Didn't the Angels get better too? They get Rendon back.
They get Rendon.
Why would you jump off the bandwagon now?
Because I don't believe that they have the pitching either. But I think Texas has the better offense.
They have fucking Shohei, your boy.
He is amazing. But how much is he going to actually do?
Who did the Rangers bring in?
They got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien.
And then no pitching?
Unless they have, although they did get, what's his name? John Gray from the Rockies.
Yeah, so kind of no pitching. You know what? I'm going to go Astros, Mariners, Angels, Rangers, A's. The A's might be the worst team in baseball. Them and the Orioles are going to fight it out.
Yeah, I feel like the Orioles are going to win a shit ton of games against us. They have no business winning.
They had 52 wins last year. I feel like the A's are going to be right around 50.
Did you see what the A's payroll is this year?
Probably like fucking 15 million.
I think it's 33 million. There's like 14 players making more than that.
That's pathetic.
The Mariners did a lot this offseason to really get better. And I forgot they got Robbie Ray too.
All right, so who's your number one seed? Is it Houston or Toronto?
My number one seed is the White Sox.
I don't think they're they won their division and they had 2 more wins than the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to have like this incredibly ridiculous season. So I'm putting them as my 1 seed.
Who'd you do?
Then I I have no faith in the White Sox to be better than the Astros. So I'm going to go Astros 2, White Sox 3.
So I have the White Sox as my 1 seed, Astros as my 2, and the Jays as my 3 seed.
And then my wild cards are going to be the Rays, Red Sox, Yankees. It's tough, though. Yeah, it has to be because I put Boston in there. I could see Seattle taking us out of there. Because if Boston regresses and they suck, then we're definitely going to be a wild card. If Boston is good again, then we're going to be fighting with the Mariners. So I'm going to go Tampa, Boston, Yankees as the wild cards.
So I have Tampa, Yankees, and the Twins as the wild cards. I think the only teams that are going to be competing for that last wild card spot is going to be a team in the East, whoever's in 4th. The Twins and the Mariners are going to be the only teams really competing for that.
I thought the Twins would be better, but they could still finish second and not be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you look at the other teams, Orioles are going to be garbage. I don't think the Tigers, Guardians, and Royals are going to do enough to compete. Same with the Athletics, Rangers, and Angels. I think there's that first tier of teams and the second tier, and then everybody else just has that.
I hope the
start
Angels are
drop-off.
fucking ass again. That'd be hilarious. Fucking Mike Trout looks like a moron.
So then
Could have gotten a huge deal and been on a winner. Instead,
That's
he
true.
chose to stay,
he'll probably ask to be traded when he's like 36.
and we'll take him.
And 100% will take him.
All right, so then NL playoffs. You have to remind me what I have. What are my matchups?
So your Dodgers and Mets would have first round buys. The first matchup would be Brewers against Giants for you.
And what are the series for the first round?
3 games.
And they're all at home?
Yep, for the home team. So for you, it would be all at home for the Brewers against the Giants, and then all at home for the Braves against the Padres.
I want to go all in on the Padres, but I'm going to go Braves and Brewers. Braves and Brewers.
Brewers over Giants. Braves over Padres.
I
For
hate
me-
that. I hate 3-game series. Like, ugh. I don't even like the 5-game series.
I don't like that it's 3 games all at the home park. Like, I understand why they did that because you needed to give an incentive for the better team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I would have the Braves over the Padres, and I would have the Mets over the Giants.
So the Giants are definitely losing. All right. What's next?
Next would be the division series for you. So it would be the Dodgers
Yes.
as your
Dodgers.
1 seed against the Brewers.
Dodgers. Dodgers in fucking 3. They don't even need to play the 4th game.
And then your next would be the Mets and the Braves.
Fuck. I think the Mets are going to be good because I want them to be bad. So there's opposites going to happen. So I'm gonna pick the Mets. Unfortunately.
So for me, it would be the Dodgers against the Braves.
That'd be a good series.
I am actually taking Braves over the Dodgers.
Not going to happen.
And then my next would be the Brewers and the
Mets.
Mets. That's a tough one. If DeGrom is healthy, I got to go Mets over Brewers there.
All right, so I'm taking. I don't even know who the Dodgers are playing, but I'm taking them.
I
don't remember.
You have the Dodgers over the Mets then in the NLCS.
Yes.
And I have the Braves over the Mets in the NLCS.
The Dodgers are just winning the World Series.
Every year that they're supposed to be the most amazing team, they don't.
Yeah, but they just they actually got incredibly amazing. Like, you don't just add Freddie Freeman to a team like that. You're not.
Well,
that's
I
not
agree.
supposed to happen.
On
Makes no
paper, they
sense.
should win 110 games easily.
Plus, their pitching is also still good. I forget who their closer is though. Who did they just traded for somebody, right? Was it Kimbrel?
Kimbrel. They traded for Kimbrel.
So yeah, they're winning like 190 games.
And their setup guy now is Blake Trinan, who was going to be their closer.
Yeah, which is hilarious because you drafted him.
Yep. I drafted him among like the 4 closers I had.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, I hope, because I heard they might use him in like, but even before Cameron, that they might use him in like more high leverage situations rather than closing.
Which will still get me a lot of strikeouts
Now,
and things like that, which wouldn't be the worst.
By the way, the Orioles finished 40 games back of the Rays, which is just hilarious.
Only 40? I feel like it probably would have been
looking
more.
at the standings, and it's just Toronto finished 1 game back. The Yankees and Red Sox were tied. We were 8 games back of them. 40 games back of the wild card, 48 of the division, which was by far. Oh, no, the Diamondbacks finished 55 games behind first. Jesus.
They were so close.
All right, now to the AL. What are my...
All right, so your first matchup would be the White Sox and Yankees.
Yeah, we're bowing out in the first round. We're not winning a game in Chicago. White Sox in 2.
Wow. No
Goodbye,
faith.
Yankees. No,
and then you'd have Rays and Red
shown
Sox.
way too much. It's not even like I'm going to show no faith and hope they win. I literally have no faith.
I think we're better than we were last year. Just other teams are just that much better too.
Are we though? I don't feel like we really did anything. Maybe on defense.
We're much better.
And
this
isn't football, so defense doesn't win championships.
I think we're much better than last year, and we still almost won. 90 something.
How though? What makes this so much better?
I think we improved our defense.
Right,
we
but I don't think
improved our contact rate offensively. We got more athletic and more speed. And you're hopefully getting it's going to come down to health for the Yankees. 100%. It's always going to be health. If they're healthy, they're going to potentially win the division, but I don't think they're going to be healthy. And pitching is
you can say that we got better than last year, but I don't feel like that was like we didn't just sign Freddie Freeman to be better. We signed.
No, exactly. It's not like we got the Correa or the Seagers or the Freemans.
So I don't see it doing enough to. So we're definitely losing. And then what was my other matchup?
Rays and Red Sox.
Oh, Rays.
So my matchups would be the Jays and Twins. I have Jays over Twins. Sorry, Twins. Unfortunate, they're not even facing the Yankees in the playoffs and getting eliminated. And then I have Rays and Yankees.
God, we always fucking take too much time for this shit.
I have Rays over Yankees. I have us bound out in the first round too.
Yeah, exactly. We suck. All right, what's next?
Next would be the Jays against the White Sox.
I'm all in on the Jays.
Then that would leave you with the Astros and the Rays.
I would love to pick the Rays. The Astros didn't really do anything this offseason, did they?
They lost Correa.
You know what? I'm going to go with an all AL East fucking final. Let's go with the Rays.
I dig it.
Unfortunately, I think I would actually root for the Rays over the Astros.
I probably would too, unless they do something really to piss us off this year.
Yeah.
I'd have White Sox as my 1 seed. I'd actually have the Jays over the White Sox. I'd have Jays over White Sox, and then I would have go figure, I'd have the Rays over the Astros.
And then I'm taking Toronto to lose to the Dodgers in the World Series.
You're having the Jays beat the Astros in the ALCS?
Yep. No, I picked the Rays.
Oh, you're having the Rays.
I have the Jays over the Rays, and then the Dodgers over the Jays.
And you and I have the same World Series American League team. You have the Dodgers over the Jays. I have the Braves repeating over the Jays.
I think there's virtually no chance the Braves repeat. Nobody repeats.
That's why it's going to be such a good story. Ronald Acuna being there to have his team win the World Series.
No chance. That's like Bryce Harper winning the World Series after he left and the Nationals won. Like, yeah, redemption for him. Not going to happen. Nope.
Brett Boone, ALCS hero.
And is Wander Franco considered a rookie still?
No.
Okay, then we're not even going to bother to do awards. I think Juan Soto's winning the NL MVP, and that's really all I know.
Bobby Witt Jr., he's winning the AL Rookie of the Year.
I can see him being like fucking Albero fucking Mondesi, that piece of shit, and missing 98 games. I almost talked myself into drafting him in one league, and I was just like, I can't do it.
He hurt you too much.
I refused. He literally missed like the whole fucking year. Fuck that guy. And who's a good AL MVP candidate? Vlad?
I think the top 3 candidates would be Vlad, Trout, Judge.
What about Boba Fett?
Boba Fett? It's a good show on Disney Plus.
Boba Shit. I feel like him and who's the other big hitter in Toronto? They lost Simeon, but they have Springer and there's one other fucking guy.
They got Vlad. They got Bichette.
It's not fucking because isn't Kevin Biggio? Doesn't he kind of suck?
Yeah, he was injured and he's not that good. But I mean, listen to the Blue Jays fucking lineup. It's stacked. It's absolutely stacked. They have Danny Jensen, Vlad, Kevin Biggio, Matt fucking Chapman.
Oh yeah, that's right. They just got Chapman.
Bo Bichette, Lourdes Gurriel, George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez, and Alejandro Kirk.
Teoscar Hernandez has no business being that good. Makes no sense.
They also traded for Raimel Tapia from the fucking Rockies. He's not even starting for them.
It's infuriating. Like and the only way that they're not incredible is if their pitching sucks.
Their bullpen is the one question mark.
Because who are their starters? Is
Gausman, Berrios, Ryu, Manoah, and Kikuchi.
So you just have to
their fifth starter.
You have to hope that Gausman has anywhere close to what he did last year. Because wasn't he like a 1-year wonder?
He could be. And now he's in the AL. But I mean, Berrios, they're getting a full year from him. Ryu's solid, and he's their 3.
Berrios
Kikuchi. Kikuchi's their 5th starter. He would be the Yankees' number 2.
Berrios actually had a pretty good last year. I'm trying to look at all of his stats because I don't remember him being like. He's actually had sub-4 ERA most of his career, so that's pretty good.
I mean, he's not like a shutdown ace, but he's solid.
Yeah, so like I don't know about any of the other shit. Cy Young, I feel like there's nobody really in the AL.
It's going to be
Cole.
It's going to be the usual suspects: Cole, Bieber,
but Bieber,
maybe Robbie Ray again.
Bieber sucked after fucking the lockdown. He was like really bad. Maybe fucking Giolito.
Dylan Cease.
But like really, I don't give a shit about awards. We got our World Series, so we can go into, as I change the banner, we have to pick an unusual death. We almost did it. We're gonna end up about a 145 again. It just seems like we can't. We somehow keep talking and never.
It's the 10 minutes that we started with the rant that threw us off. We'd be 10 minutes further.
Fucking goddamn it! But it says MLB contracts. What the fuck does that mean? What did you want to talk about?
I'll actually put that to next week. It's going to be. I have a list of the biggest contract each team has ever given out because we talked about the Guardians, the biggest contract they'd ever given out until yesterday was $60 million.
We also have to do NHL escrow next week, and I talked about the WWF name change, that's not long, but
you were saying we were starved for topics. Look at that, we got action.
We are starved for topics. It's just fucking when we have a topic, it's like the fucking MLB standings took like 45 minutes. It felt like. But we did that. I have to find the unusual death. And I also want to play Hurdle on here. I think that would be fun if we can do that. But we don't have time this week. Maybe since we're recording, because the schedule got fucked up, you didn't want to record Tuesday. So we was like, yeah, we'll do Wednesday night because I'm off the next day. Then I was like, we should just do Thursday because there's no fucking Yankees.
Yeah, because the Yankees.
That's what I was going to rant on. I switched my day off to today. I was like, I'm going to get my car done in the morning. And then I'm going to come home and watch the Yankees. Oh, fuck, I got to switch my day from Tuesday to Thursday. So I did that. And then the other day, they fucking canceled the game today. So that pissed me the fuck off. So I spent $1,200 on my car, and I don't even get to watch Yankees lose today. So that's going to be fucking great. So the unusual death is going to be me killing myself right now. I'm so fucking angry. I need to find shit to pour on my head so I can recoup some of those losses.
That's smart.
All right, give me a year.
We got anything in the 1970s?
Hold on a second. There's one from 26. I was just scrolling, and the name is just 10 people. So 10 people died.
That's interesting.
You want to do that one, or do you want to do the 70s?
Do that one.
Because that just caught my eye when I was scrolling. So in November 21st, 2016, it just says 10 people. So on 21 November 2016, so you know it's not in America, a powerful southerly change in Melbourne, Australia, resulted in the death of 10 asthmatic people who succumbed to respiratory failure. This was due to a stark 60 kilometer per hour, which is 37 miles an hour. No, I didn't do that on my own. It says it. Wind that distributed ryegrass pollen into the moist air. That is a disgusting sentence to read.
Moist.
Wind that distributed ryegrass pollen into the moist air, rupturing them into very fine specks, particles small enough to enter people's lungs. That is a fucking mouthful.
That's insane.
Even reading that slowly, I still sound like a fucking moron. 60-kilometer, 37-mile-per-hour wind that distributed ryegrass pollen into the moist air, rupturing said pollen into very fine specks. I don't feel like you don't need specks particles in this sentence. You just very fine specks. And then they do particles small enough to enter people's lungs.
Yeah, you could kind of do without that, I think.
That makes it weird. Very fine specks, particles, small. That. I feel like I'm gonna have to edit that right now. Because I don't like that. I'm gonna edit that real quick. But like that's 10 people, so you're gonna have to do a research and fucking tell us all the names of the 10
You'd think
people.
that we would have fucking heard about that, don't you?
Yeah, at least from like Jimbo Kablamo or something. 2016.
Yeah, where were you, Jimbo? Come on, that's your home. That's your native land, man.
All right, let me fucking. I hate trying to edit Wikipedia. So the fucking HTML is confusing. Where the fuck are you? All right, you can start doing the.
All right, so
hold on. Let me change the banner first. Hey, there you go.
So on this day in 1805, Lewis and Clark
7th.
left Fort Mandan on the Missouri River, beginning their journey to the Pacific Ocean. WrestleMania 2 took place on this day in 1986, which was a Monday.
In 3 different cities?
In 3 different cities. And it was on a Monday, too. Isn't that just weird in itself?
That's odd.
1989, the movie Major League was released on this day. Love that movie. WrestleMania 29 in New Jersey took place on this day in 2013.
I was there.
On this day in 2014, the Raw after WrestleMania, where the Ultimate Warrior made his final public appearance before dying the next day of a heart attack.
What year was that?
That was 2014, so it's been 8 years already.
Jesus.
And in 2019, on this day, WrestleMania 35, also in New Jersey, took place.
Yeah, usually around this time, I get the Facebook memories, which is the only reason to use Facebook.
It's a very good point. We have some birthdays on this day, of course. On this day in 1929, Crazy Joe Gallo, not to be confused with Joey Gallo or Joe Gatto, an enforcer.
Fuck Joe Gatto. Fuck that guy.
An enforcer of the Profaci crime family in the 1950s was born on this day in 1929. Director Francis Ford Coppola was born on this day in 1939. Jackie Chan, born on this day in 1955, so he's 67.
Damn, Jackie.
Russell Crowe, born on this day in 1965, turning 57. And former WWE wrestler Darren Drozdov turns 53 today.
Rest in peace to his legs.
And we have some, rest in peace to his legs. Some deaths.
Can't use them.
P.T. Barnum, the founder of Barnum and Bailey's Circus, died of a stroke at the age of 80 in 1891. Fun fact. Did you know he was born in Bethel, Connecticut? Because I did not know that.
I feel like I knew they were from Connecticut, maybe. Isn't there like a fucking museum in Connecticut somewhere?
There might be. I don't know.
Something to do with the Barnum and Bailey Zoo in Connecticut.
This day in 1947, Henry Ford died of cancer. He was the guy that introduced, obviously, the first mass-produced car, the Model Ford T.
And was a huge anti-Semite.
Unfortunately. On this day...
oh, yeah. By the way, it's the Barnum Museum in Bridgeport. I remember going there as a kid.
Really? Interesting.
Yep.
On this day in 1972, at the age of 43, Crazy Joe Gallo, an enforcer of the Profaci crime family in the 1950s, was shot dead at the age of 43.
Wait, he died died on his birthday.
Died on his birthday.
I feel like that's a good way to go because I'd want my Wikipedia to be like May 24th, 1986 to May 24th, 2022. I think that's cool. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm killing myself on my birthday.
When I was looking up like people who were born and died, I thought it was a typo, and then I actually had to like look him up. Yeah, he was born on. Then
so his name is Joe Gallo.
Joe Gallo. They shot him dead on his birthday.
His grandson Joey.
It's a good way to end.
Oh, that was it.
That was it.
All right. So what do we got on tap for next week that we know for sure? I think we might be able to do Family Guy season 5. I'm gonna try and play Hurdle. We can also do the fucking. I don't even know the name of their podcast, but the fucking Guess the Wrestler, Guess the Pay-Per-View. We have that. NHL Escrow we have to find out about because I want to know.
Yep.
And then I It'll be on Tuesday, so it'll be a short week. So
Short
this is
turnaround.
Thursday. This will be uploaded very soon after, and then we'll have another one on Tuesday, and it'll be episode 22. And as usual, we're actually under the 147. Our usual time is like every episode is like an hour 47. So we're just going to end here. We're not talking anymore. I'm saying goodbye. I'm hitting end broadcast. Thank you for listening. As always, tweet us, Instagram us, give us suggestions because nobody's giving us any suggestions.
Bye.
Anything would be helpful. Bye.